What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we have an episode of Rate My Tank. Now this is a subscriber special and all of the tanks on today's video have been submitted by you guys at home. We have 4 stunning tanks featured on the video today, some lovely plants and some lovely fancy goldfish. So without further ado, let's check out some amazing tanks and see what you guys have sent me. So I just want to say quickly as well, as you can see we are on the first tank, but there were a few tanks that have been submitted and I haven't actually shown in today's video, but there will be another Rate My Tank video coming very soon, so please do not worry because that is coming soon. And I really apologise if your tank wasn't featured in this video, but it will be in the one in the near future. The first tank, you can see we have a really nice planted tank. We've got loads of roots growing down through the surface, creating like this underwater jungle, and you can see we've got a huge selection of plants on top. I'm really liking the use of that background that is above the aquarium and then drops back behind it. I've never actually seen that before. Really liking that mountainscape. That is something really different and I've never even considered doing something like that, but it looks really nice and it is really effective. Loving the use of the different plants. We've got some pothos, some monstera. There's a few others that I'm not too sure about. Looks like we've got that hang-on filter as well at the back. We've also got those sponge filters helping to keep that tank nice and clear, keep the clarity on point. I'm really liking the use of the dark substrate, helping to illuminate the fish's colors. Obviously, we do have a few moors and telescope eye goldfish which are black and quite hard to see, but I always like to use a darker substrate which helps illuminate the fish and really make those colors pop. I'm also really liking the roots penetrating through the water and creating that aquatic underwater jungle. I'm sure the goldfish will be nibbling on those, finding lots of different pieces of food that get stuck in them, and it also provides them somewhere to lay their eggs as they mature and start to breed. Really liking the huge monstera we have over the top of the tank here, and as always I love these planted fancy goldfish tanks. Overall, maybe I would give it a little bit more structure in the tank. I know I can't really say too much as my tank is completely bare, but maybe I would add something inside the tank, maybe a nice piece of wood with some anubias on it to tie in with those terrestrial external plants and sort of bring them into the water, maybe adding a Java fern or something like that. Personally, that's what I would do. I would also, if possible, maybe reduce the number of sponge filters or eliminate those so you can get them hidden away. Maybe use an external canister filter, something like that, to keep that water clarity on check, but to minimize the amount of equipment that we can see within the tank. But overall, I'm loving the use of those plants. I'm loving the roots going into the water, the minimalistic look, and I'm sure the owner does an absolutely cracking job of keeping this tank lovely and clean for the goldfish. Overall, I'm going to give this tank a 3.9 out of 5 stars. Thank you so much for the submission. Absolutely great setup. So as you can see, for the next tank, we have a significantly large tank. This looks like it's around the 5 foot in length range, maybe even 6 foot. We have a huge amount of plants as well in this tank compared to the last one. Looks like we've got some lovely bunches of Vallisneria, maybe Gigantica, that is covering the surface and swaying over the top of the tank. Looks like we might have some anubias on a big piece of wood at the back. I'm also really liking that this tank is not overstocked. We only have a few fancies in here. We don't have anything too crazy. It looks like a really nice naturalistic scape, and although the previous tank had that dark substrate to help those colors pop, I really like the use of the white river sand sort of substrate we've got here along with those pebbles, which gives it a natural river sort of look to the tank. Obviously goldfish aren't river fish, but I'm really liking the river style scape we've got with the Vallisneria, the river sand, the pebbles, bits of wood, some submerged plants as well. Really liking the look of that, and the goldfish looks so vibrant and happy and healthy in this system. Also, I'm absolutely loving the use of the lights on this tank with that natural piece of wood or that natural log you have above the tank, and then wrapping those lights around it, whether they are LED bulbs or they are just normal light bulbs. They look absolutely fantastic, and that is really tying in with this tank and the theme that is going on. Also really liking the use of the plant filter as well, with a bit of pothos in it, helping to remove all of that nutrients from the water. I'm loving the natural vibe we've got with the obviously modern electronic lighting, but also that naturalistic look, tying that all together. It looks absolutely fabulous. Obviously it would be ideal if this tank didn't have that center brace down it as well, but overall absolutely stunning tank. Really liking the use of the plants. A phenomenal job has been done by the owner of this tank. We've got that overflow coming out from the plant filter, and obviously there is a pump pumping that up in there. I don't know whether there's maybe a canister filter that is tied into that system, but great ingenuity, great DIY skills, and an awesome setup. I bet those plants are removing all of that phosphate and nitrate from the water, helping mitigate the amount of water changes needed. Really doing a good job at the nutrient export in this tank. I'm also liking that we've got a few different varieties of fancies. Obviously, many people like me keep variety only tanks where you just keep one single variety, but it is quite nice sometimes to see these tanks with multiple varieties in them, because I believe they do complement each other, and it's nice to see the different swimming patterns, the different styles that these fish move in and how they feed, and also the different fins and the way that they look overall in the tank. It gives you different aspects to look at, different areas of the tank. I'm really also liking the number of features we got in this tank. We've got some areas for the fish to hide. We've got some areas for the fish to spawn on. They can forage for food. They have that naturalistic behavior where they can rummage through the sand looking for food as well. Obviously with a sand tank, and obviously with a planted tank like this one, maintenance is probably a little bit more than something like a bare tank as I have behind me, because you'll need to be making sure that that sand is turned over well, no dirt and detritus is accumulating underneath it. But with the correct care, maintenance and feeding regime, a tank like this can absolutely thrive, like the one we can see today on this video. Really nice tank. Now I would say personally this isn't a tank I would keep my fancies in. I would definitely keep some species of tropical fish in, albeit this is an absolutely stunning tank and the owner has clearly put a huge amount of work and effort into this system, and overall these fish are looking so happy and healthy, and I absolutely love this. There's nothing really I would say to improve or change on this tank. I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, it depends on the maintenance regime that you are to keep a tank in this way. But I would say I'm going to give this one a 4.8 out of 5 stars. Amazing tank. Really like it. Maybe I would add a couple more fish personally, but I do love seeing a tank full of quite a lot of fish. But I wouldn't change anything else. Thank you for the submission. An absolutely stunning tank and a credit to you. So now on to the next tank. Here you can see we have an absolutely awesome Red Sea Reefer 250. Now this is generally always used as a marine tank, but I love the use of marine tanks with fancy goldfish because they provide really nice light systems. As you can see, this tank is really blue, but on the Reef systems or the Reef LEDs, I believe we might have the Red Sea LEDs above this tank. You have a lovely adjustable spectrum which is Wi-Fi controlled. We also have that sump in the cabinet. The cabinets always have a huge amount of space to host all of your supplies in. They have plenty of space for canister filters, equipment, whatever you want to be using on your fancy goldfish system. I'm loving that minimalistic look here. We've got that black substrate, we've got a sort of black background. We also have the 2 air diffusers in the background as well, which are providing lots of oxygen and also an aesthetically pleasing air bubble stream up to the surface of the water. So I'm really liking the use of that this owner has done. We can see we have 2, not but 1, but 2 fluval canister filters on this system as well. So those goldfish we are definitely know are gonna have absolutely pristine water. Looks like we've got a few different medias as well in the bottom. We've also got that fluval air pump as well. They are feeding some hikari food as well. This water looks absolutely crystal clear, and I reckon with those 2 filters and also that UV system, the fluval UV system they've got on here as well, it is doing an absolutely phenomenal job at keeping that water crystal clear. Now I love that having just 3 Arandas in this 250 litre system, plenty of room for the fish to swim around in, plenty of room for them to grow, forage for food and look through that substrate as well. Now personally, if you wanted to add maybe a couple of river pebbles to add a sort of central feature to the tank, then that may tickle some of your personal preferences, or maybe a piece of wood with some Anubias or Java fern on it. But I absolutely love the simplicity and the care and dedication that has gone into setting this tank up. Maybe I would change the lighting spectrum a little bit. You might find if you go down to maybe 7,500 Kelvin spectrum, you may get a little bit more pop and a little bit of better color out of your fish, but also the blues really highlight some of those colors on our fancy goldfish as well. Absolutely love this tank though. I'm going to give this one a 4.7 out of 5 stars. Loving the use of equipment and the simplicity and stylishness of this fancy goldfish aquarium. Next up, as you can see, we have another fancy goldfish aquarium, which is another minimalistic tank. Now this tank obviously has some plants growing out of the back of it onto the wall, which I really like and haven't really seen that done before. I think if those plants continue to grow across that back wall, it's going to look absolutely phenomenal, using the nutrients from the tank, improving the water quality, clarity, and providing oxygen within your room as well. Absolutely love the use of plants and fancy goldfish. We can also see we have a green carpet algae just like me, and I absolutely love those. It means the tank can stay lovely and clean, and maintenance is easy. It provides food for the fish, removes nutrients from the water, and overall I think it just has a really nice look to it. So we can see this tank isn't too big. It looks to be around the 120-150 litre range. We have what looks to be some small little ranchu in there that haven't quite molted or changed colour as well. We've just got a few fingerling ranchu in there. We also have that terracotta pot, which is really nice to see. We have that nice stand, which I believe the owner has made himself. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he did tell me that he's actually made the cabinet himself, which is absolutely awesome. And I love the use of DIY with our fancy goldfish as well. Nice to see we've got some canister filter inlet and outlet pipes over the back of the tank, and I assume that canister filter just sits under the stand. Potentially you could add a background to this tank to hide any of the wires and any of those pipes, but that may take a little bit away from that clear look that you're going for. Obviously, if it was me, I personally would add that black background, or maybe even an opaque background to the back of the tank, so that it is still see-through, lets the light through, creates that light open space for the goldfish, but also hides those wires and pipes as well. We can clearly see here is the canister filter we have on the system, and here is a little close-up we have on those fish as well. Lovely tiny little ranchu. Obviously this tank is absolutely huge for them, and they have plenty of space to grow out in it. We also have the roots of the plants coming through, providing that underwater jungle. Not too sure what that plant in the middle is in that terracotta pot, but I'm really liking that green algae is just spreading all the way up the sides of that tank, giving those young fish something to feed on throughout the day and providing them a nutrient-rich diet, additionally to any pellets or frozen food. Absolutely love the simplicity of this tank. Really nice system. Overall, I'm going to give this one a 4.2 out of 5 stars. So thank you all for watching today's video. If you do want to have your tanks featured in a video just like this one today, you can send me an email. That email is down in the description, fancygoldfishfanatics@gmail.com, or I can do a longer video in our tank tours series, and we have a few of those videos coming up very soon. Now, if I didn't feature your tank in today's video, I do apologize, but it will come in the next episode of Rate My Tank. We had quite a few submissions, so I couldn't fit them all into one video today, but hopefully you have enjoyed it and keep looking out for your tank in the near future. But that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.